Hello everybody and welcome to this first tutorial on Unity game programming. What I want to show to you now is essentially how can we make some simple object and introduce some movement, very basic movement that we will obtain by scripting. I want to first put something on which to create. I will put a plane, and this plane will be good in this position. I will not make much change. I will maybe add some color, so I will go into project here in my assets. I will just create a new material, and this material maybe we can make our plane some kind of blue. So I will make this as choose an albedo. I will go to the blue. I can even just leave here the blue on the triggers and remove all this, so I get a full blue, and I will accept this. Yeah, it's nice. So I will now take my plane and I can drop the material or directly on the default material around the plane. It's the same. Now we have a plane. If I look the game from here, it looks like well, I have a base on which if I play, on which I can put something. I will just move my camera a little up because it's very low. It's on altitude is 1, so I can put at for example 3, 4, and I can eventually yeah, 5. I can eventually now look a little down to rotation. I can put so like 30 degrees looking down, so looks good. So let's see, we have a place where to play. Now what I want to do is I want to add an object. So I will add a cube. This cube I can reset the coordinate, and well, I will just make it a little taller, and I will position I so it is 1 meter above. It's 2 meters with the center in the middle, so it's perfectly over the plane. It looks good. Now I will maybe I can change the colors of the cube. I will create so a new material. I will make it green. This material I will change the albedo, so I have the green here, so I will just remove the red and blue, and I get a nice green, and I can put here. What I want to do now, I have my coordinate of the cube. It is on 0, 0, and it can so move around if we want. It could just be repositioned. I want that it moves alone. I want that it moves by a script. What I want is to simulate now is something like a patrolling of a specific area. That's typical of many games. We can do in many ways. Unity gives a lot of function to make by use of navigation meshes and artificial intelligence. We can make a lot of interesting things, but I want to start very basic. I want to have this patroller moving between two fixed positions. So for example, I will seek to move to, for example, to position -4 here, and then to position 4 here, so moving left and right. And when I reach a position, then start to go in the other. How can I do this? First I save. I can do this by essentially by scripting. So I will add a component, and this component will be, I can do many things. I can add many components. I will add a new script. That's a C# script. This script will be like a patrol manager, I can call it. Yeah, looks nice. And all the scripts are added at the asset level. I will always, I prefer to create a folder that's called scripts, where to put all the script that we do. That's to keep it very clean, this area or the project area, the assets area, because when you have a lot of objects, when you have a lot of materials, a lot of scripts, it can become really unusable. So it's important that you keep as steady as possible. So script, I have this patrol manager. I can see here what is inside. For the moment, pretty empty. But I can click on Visual Studio and having it loading, so I can start to script it. Well, so what do we want is to move this cube left and right. To do this, I can store the positions where to move. I can do it in this way. I have the cube in a certain position. I want to move to another, so I can create empty game objects that are just placeholder of position. I don't need that any object in Unity has a physical structure, a physics, a kinematics, whatever. It can just be an empty game object, just the potential to be whatever we want, but sometimes it's even that is purely enough. If I put this at -4, for example, this new object that I created, and I position at the same height of the cube, that is positioned at height 1, then I can simulate a target for moving my green cube. I will call it something like left waypoint. Yeah. Okay, then I want to create another for the right. So I will create a new empty object that I call, well, surprise, right waypoint. And it will be positioned at 4. Yeah, so I have a left waypoint and a right waypoint, always at 8, 1. Yes, looks like it works. Yeah. I will now go back into my script. So I can search for a reference to a left waypoint, and I will make also a public game object right waypoint. Why I did it public? That's because when I do in a script a public property, these properties are immediately mirrored into the script component as properties that we can set inside Unity editor. So I will have a left waypoint, a right waypoint that I can instantly instantiate at the start by dragging and dropping the references to these two objects. So it is done, the reference of these two objects. Then what I need to know where I am. So thus I can make private. I will do something like private transform me. What is transform? Transform is this component that contains my position, my rotation, my scale, whatever me as game object am. So I will do now, I now have to instantiate it, because now it's null. Private transform me is just a me null. So I will instantiate it into the start, that is as soon as the game object is loaded. Then I will do an instantiation. I can do something like this dot get component. I can also do just get component if I want. Sometimes I'm too purist in my programming, but okay. This component, which kind of type? It's a typed method. I will call the transform. Normally there should be only one, and so it will find in this game object, you will find the component called transform and will put into me. So essentially it will take this transform data and will put into me. Now I can try to move. What I want to do is I want to move left, and then when I reach a place I want to move right. So I want to tell if I'm moving left or right in a specific moment. I can do this by a private bool patrolling left, for example, is true if I want to start by going left. Okay, now how can I proceed on this? I know that I want to go left, so I can do a check, like if I am going left, then continue to move towards left. If I am moving right, continue to move right until I reach the waypoint on the right. If the distance from me and the waypoint left is less than very little, 1 centimeter, then stop going left and start going right. So change bool patrolling left to false, so let's patrolling right. And the same on the other way. So I want to essentially write something like this. If I am going left, what should I do? Well, I want to have updated my position so that it is a little more in direction of the waypoint. So I can use this helper method of the vector tree that is move towards. So I can say that I move from my current position, that means me dot position, to the target that I want to reach, that is in this case is left waypoint dot transform. I have to go into the transform component dot position, and then I have to put a delta. How much will we move? Well, this is typically a step, something that we need to tell for every frame how much we want to move. Typically we want to be aligned to the frame rate. So otherwise, in some moment when the computer can do more work, then we would be faster. In other moment, we would be slower. It's better to be time independent. So I will do in this way. It's a typical in these cases to have, for example, I can set a speed. Just it will be just a number that I can change as much as I like. Yeah, I will put something like this for just to initiate to start. And so I want to have my speed, that is my step, but I will multiply by something that is very common in the update method in all the scripts in Unity, time dot tell delta time. When you do this, practically you see in this with this property, you will see how much time it passed since the last frame. So by multiplying the speed by this quantity, you become independent of the time. If time passes a little faster or a little slower, it will be averaged always on a fixed way. So I can do this in a step. Well, practically I can even already I can try to see what happens. I imagine that it will start to run to left and continue to run to left until reaches perfect. So what we have is that we reach the position, move towards successful done. Now, what happens if we want to go right? Well, I can just keep easy, so I will just copy and paste this, and I will say if I'm not going left, so I'm going right, I want to go to the not to the left waypoint, but to the right waypoint, and that's it. It works. So if I start, for example, with by going false, so by going right, I should see that my object moves right. Yeah, perfect. It works. So now I want to start to jump from one place to another, and then again, and then again, and then again. How can I do it? By checking the distance. So I can say that if I can use another helper class, the method of vector3. If vector3 dot distance between, well, a vector and another vector, I would say between me and left waypoint dot transform dot position. If I am so near to the left waypoint that I am, for example, less than 0.01 float from the left waypoint, then I would like to start to go right. So I will do patrolling left is false. The same I will do if I am reaching the right. Then patrolling left becomes true again. Okay, let's see. Well, looks like a perfect patroller. Nice. We are almost done for this, but I want to add just one little thing. I want to have an observer. So I will create another, no, let's do something more physical. I will add another cube. And I will position, I will reset, I will do the same as the other. I will put it quite a little back, yeah, like here. And I could eventually, yeah, I will add some color also to this, why not? So I will do create material, and this material we can make, I don't know, maybe we can make a yellow. Albedo, as you can see, I can also do directly by putting red at the maximum and green to the maximum. It makes me a gorgeous yellow. Yeah, I can do this, and I can then take my observer and I can put yellow. I will change the name, so I will call it it's like someone that want to point at you. I will make a nice thing for this. I will do it as a targeter. What I want to do is, let's try this. I want that my cube is always changing its face toward the green block that moves. So when he moves, when the green block moves left, I want that my yellow cube looks at left, and when it goes right, that my yellow cube looks at right. So essentially keeping the eye pointed on the green. Yes. Okay, that is easy to say, but how can we do? Well, essentially, I would first add a script to the targeter. So I will make a new script and I will call it something like targeter manager. Okay. This is the new script, and I can move into scripts again. Obviously, I can also make a folder that I call materials, and I can put all the materials into the materials. That's keep very clean my solution. I will open this targeter. Okay, the targeter needs to know the green object, where he is, where position, and must know where he is, the targeter is. So I will make a public game object that I can call target. That's the green guy. And I always do this game object me. To start, me is again a get component, transform, or as I typically do, this dot get component transform. Yes, it's a transform. Now I want to have this target. How can I have the target? Well, the target I can just take my cube, and you know that it will become if I save, yeah, it will become a public property. So I can go here, I have the target, and so I can go into my cube, and that I will call patroller. Nice. And I can put this patroller into the targeter target. Perfect. So we are looking, we know where the patroller is. Great. Okay, so we have our position, we have the target position. Okay, this is pretty easy to do the update because we use always the helper methods of Unity that are very useful. So I can establish which is the vector between me and the current position of the target by doing a difference of two vectors. My position is a vector that starts in the origin of the Cartesian coordinate of Unity and goes to me. The target vector is a vector, the position is a vector that also starts in the origin of the coordinates and goes to the target. To obtain the vector between me and the target, I have to do the difference between me and the target. So I will do vector 3 direction is target dot transform dot position minus me dot position. This is the vector that gives the direction between me and the target. So now I want to rotate, so I will change my rotation, and I will use another helper function that calls the Quaternion, that is the matrix of transformation of every object in Unity. I will just use an helper method that is look rotation, and I will pass the vector at which I want to look. Simple. That's direction. So I save, go here, and well, I think we are pretty done. There should be nothing. Yes. So as you can see, now we look constantly at the target. So that's the end for today. Thanks a lot for having seen this tutorial, and please come back soon for our next tutorial. See you, ciao!